Hey guys, how's it going? Just to let you know, over the next 4 weeks, we're going to be thinking about vibes and like these emotions that we all have. And it's pretty normal that we have them. Even this week, I felt great after a run, fed up with all the rain. And while I should be used to it now, even the weather has got me down. But the highlight is probably when someone knocked at the door. The only thing is I realised it was a parcel from a mum. And maybe you've had something similar. Maybe it's when your brother or sister has come in and demanded the TV, and it's normal to feel frustrated. Or when you hear people speak badly of your friends, and it's quite normal to feel angry. Or when we see people go out their way to do something kind for you, it's normal to feel happy. But over the past year, and probably even this past week, there's probably been most likely times and moments you haven't been sure how to feel. Sitting in the room all day and just feeling quite a lot of different emotions, whether it's angry or you're feeling numb, bored, frustrated. Maybe you can relate. And one of the things I've had to learn is to be able to identify how I'm feeling. Let me explain what I mean by that. In this past week, month or year, I've got up and found that everyone and everything has been grinding on you. Everything is getting on your last nerve, but you don't understand why. Then someone does something and then it kind of is this big deal and you kind of lose it. Like, I know when I'm in a bad mood and I then go for a walk and he stops and he wheezes and I just get really annoyed over something so small, and I don't know whether or not you can relate. And this leads me to slightly pull on the dog's lead to try and move him and mutter under my breath. And it's not that much of a big of a deal, but what if it's when you get angry and when you get a message and you throw your phone and it breaks, or you get upset and you respond poorly to the message and you regret it, or our anxiety even stops us doing the things that we love. Our emotions can control how we act if we let them. But what if there's a better option? And as I look in the Bible, I see this conversation between Jesus and a group of people called the Pharisees. Now, the Pharisees were considered the good people in society, the ones who always acted right no matter what. And they just followed God's law, but extra laws like human traditions added on. It's one of these human traditions we see in a conversation here. And it's in Mark chapter 7, verses 23, and it says, "So the Pharisees and the teachers of the law asked Jesus, 'Why don't your disciples live according to the traditions of the elders, instead of eating with the food with their defiled hands?' He replied, 'Isaiah was right when he prophesied about the hypocrites. As it is written, these people honour me with their lips, but not their hearts are far from me. They worship me in vain, their teachings are merely human rules. You have let go of the commands of God and are holding on to human traditions.'" And he continued, You have a fine way of setting aside the commands of God in order to observe your own traditions. For Moses said, 'Honour your father and mother,' and anyone who curses their father and mother is to be put to death. But you say that if anyone declares that what might have been used to help their father or mother is korban, that is devoted to God, then you no longer let them do anything for their father or mother. Thus, you nullify the word of God by your tradition that you have handed down. And you do many things like that. Again, Jesus called the crowd and said, "Listen to me, everyone, and understand this. Nothing outside a person can defile them by going into them. Rather, it's what comes out of a person that defiles them." And he had left the crowd and entered the house. His disciples asked him about the parable. "Are you so dull?" he asked. "Don't you see that nothing that enters a person from the outside can defile them? For it goes into their heart, but it's into their stomach, and then out of their body." In saying this, Jesus declared all food was clean. He went on, "What comes out of a body is what defiles them. For it is from within, out of a person's heart, that evil thoughts come. Sexual immorality, theft, murder, adultery, greed, malice, deceit, lewdness, envy, slander, arrogance, and folly. All these evils come from the inside and defile a person." You see, in this conversation with the Pharisees, they're asking because they don't wash their hands, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Now, I'm sure if they lived in time of COVID, there'll be an even greater emphasis of washing their hands. But the Pharisees saw the disciples as bad for not following the law of the elders. That's not the law of what God had given, what man had given. And it's not to say that washing your hand is a bad thing, but really they were missing the point. Even the disciples didn't quite understand this. And when Jesus explains, he says what comes out of a man is the thing that defiles him, not in. And every bad thing starts with a thought. You see, our emotions aren't bad things, but when they take control of us, they can lead us to do some bad things. So it's important that we handle them well. You see, our emotions don't have to be the boss of us. They don't have to control how we act. And in fact, we can trust Jesus with our emotions, and he can give us the strength to handle them. And over this week, I want you to try 2 things for me. Think about the main 1 or 2 emotions that you have the hardest time controlling, and ask this question: how am I really doing today? Like, really doing? And doing both of these things will help you handle your emotions, as you understand how you are feeling and which feelings you have the hardest time to control. And please understand that our feelings aren't bad things. They're actually pretty good, even the hard ones. We just need to know how to respond to them. And if you follow Jesus, this is a massive help. As we've said, our emotions aren't to be the boss of us, but Jesus is the boss, and he should be in control of our lives. And he kind of says it this way: come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. In another place, Jesus said it a little bit like this: peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. Remember, because of Jesus, emotions don't have to be the boss of you. And I want to leave you with this question today: what difference would it make? Like, how would your life be different if emotions weren't the boss of me? Like, what would my home look like if other people could control their emotions? Would there be less arguing, less falling out? Would there be a happier and calmer environment? So this week, be honest with your emotions and don't let them be the boss of you. I'll catch you next week. See you soon.